I'm Dan McGrath, and this is Pilot After 50. In this episode of Pilot After 50, I'm going to tell you about a really interesting airport for private pilots to check out. This will be the first in a series I'm calling Awesome Places to Land. First, here's my usual plea to like and subscribe, and also check out my other endeavors and buy my books at danmcgrath.net. Now, this air adventure takes us from my home airport in Anoka to Holman Field, located right next to downtown St. Paul in Minnesota. I'm getting settled into my new flying club, and so far, aside from one complaint when I forgot to wash the bugs off the plane when I was done, it's been an absolutely positive experience. So far, I've only checked out in the club's Cessna 172, and that's the plane we flew to Holman Field. It's an old but trusty 1969 Model K. Its only avionics upgrade is the radio stack with a Garmin 430 for main comms and navigation. So it's all original steam gauges. The plane also had a stall kit installed so it can keep flying at ridiculously low speeds. It has a Lycoming 0360 engine with 180 horsepower and 4 seats. Now, our destination, Holman Field, or KSTP, is a pretty short distance from Anoka, or Kane, but we took the scenic route, flying east to the St. Croix River. We followed the river south down past the Stillwater Bayport area, and then turned back west for St. Paul. I really like this particular route because the scenery is beautiful, and it also mostly avoids the outer shelf of KMSP Minneapolis International Airport's Class Bravo airspace. You can't really fly by downtown Minneapolis without Bravo clearance and dodging temporary flight restrictions that are omnipresent over the sports arenas, but approaching the St. Paul airport gives you a spectacular close-up view of downtown St. Paul and the Mississippi River. I made a couple of trips to Holman Field to get the shots I wanted for this video and brought different passengers along to sightsee and help with the cameras. For my brother Jason, it was his first time in an airplane of any kind. My friends Chrome and Donovan got most of the shots for me. Thanks, guys. Here we are on the Wisconsin side of the St. Croix, approaching Stillwater and Bayport, the home of Anderson Windows, by the way. This area alone makes the trip really fun and interesting. As we approach St. Paul from the east, we cross back under a couple of Bravo shelves, so it's important to keep an eye on the altimeter. First, we have to descend to duck under the 4,000-foot shelf, and then we reach the next ring where we need to stay under 3,000 feet. And finally, as we get close to the airport, we need to be under 2,300 feet. This is especially important to remember when taking off. To stay current to carry passengers, private pilots are required to have done at least 3 takeoffs and landings in the preceding 90 days. So I try to get in 3 landings at least with every trip that I take, and that usually involves, because I get bored just flying laps in the pattern at my own airport, stopping off at different small airports, usually uncontrolled Class G or Class Golf airports. This trip was no exception. We made a few touch-and-go landings on the way to St. Paul and on the way back. I don't think this video does it justice, but flying right by the tall buildings at the heart of St. Paul is really quite the experience. Apart from the spectacular views of the city and the river, there are some other interesting features that make Holman Field an awesome place to land. KSTP is a Delta airport that is situated under the Class Bravo shelves of the Minneapolis International Airport, also known to aviation aficionados as Wold Chamberlain Field. Now, Holman Field was named after Charles Speed Holman, a renowned stunt pilot who was actually the first pilot hired by Northwest Airways back in 1926. In 1928, he set a world record of 1,433 consecutive laps around the St. Paul airport. It took him 5 hours. In 1930, he won the U.S. airspeed trials, but tragically died in an air show accident in 1931 when he was just 32 years old. KSTP has 3 runways, and the longest is just about 6,500 feet, affording plenty of room for jets to touch down. It was once used as a commercial passenger airport, and in fact, the old passenger terminal is one of the reasons Holman Field should be on your list of airports to check out. The old terminal building was built in 1939 by WPA workers, featured a limestone control tower and administrative offices. It's listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and it is a remarkable-looking deco building. Holman Field doesn't feature scheduled commercial flights anymore, so it got a new modern control tower, and the old building has been converted into a unique on-field restaurant called Holman's Table. Pilots all know about the $100 hamburger when you spend $100 in fuel to fly to another town for lunch. It's more like a $300 hamburger these days, but I digress. Besides the cool building it's in, something that makes Holman's Table an exceptional destination for your $100 burger is that because it's on the airfield, you can taxi your airplane right up to the door. And that's exactly what we did. How about this landing? It almost looks like I knew what I was doing. I should mention Holman Field's controllers are very friendly and eternally patient, and I had informed them that we were going to be heading to Holman's Table on arrival, and they kindly provided taxi instructions. It was real easy, just straight down to the end of the runway. So just taxied on down there to check it out. Holman's Table also features an outdoor patio and a terrific view of the airport, so you can watch all the airplanes and helicopters taking off and landing. The vintage decor inside is beautiful, featuring a comfy dining room, a lounge, and also private dining for special events. Their menu is new American cuisine, and they even have a $300 burger on the menu, but it's priced at a more reasonable $27.50. They also serve craft beer and cocktails, but pilots, remember your bottle-to-throttle rules. Besides the vintage control tower that's been converted into a restaurant, another building on the field is also a National Historic Place. It's called the Riverside Hangar. Built in 1942, it was used to modify bombers during World War II. Now, most airports have an FBO, or fixed base operator. An FBO is the aviation equivalent of a gas station. They come in all shapes and sizes. Some are also flight schools or airplane rental businesses. They all provide fuel and a place to park your plane, but Signature Flight Support, located at Holman Field, stands out as just plain luxurious. This FBO pretty much replaces the old passenger terminal. If you're on a chartered flight, you're likely to pass through their facility from the field side to the roadside to get into your awaiting limo. Signature offers the usual FBO services, including the all-important restrooms, but the visit is elevated by a spacious, clean, elegant, and comfortable lobby, a coffee and tea station, a pilot's lounge, conference room, and vending machines. If you need to make a pit stop in the Twin Cities area, St. Paul Signature is an exceptional FBO worth paying a visit to. Departing the downtown St. Paul Airport is nearly as remarkable as the approach. But here's where you really have to mind those Class Bravo shelves and watch your altitude, because it's really easy to climb too high on takeoff, and nobody wants a call from the FAA after you broke into Bravo airspace unannounced. The airport is situated under a restrictive 2,300-foot shelf, after all. Spectacular views and amenities make Holman Field the first in my series of awesome places to land. Let me know if you've ever been to Holman Field, or suggest cool places for private pilots to visit in the comments. As always, if you liked the video, let me know with a thumbs up. If there's something you didn't like, let me know in the comments so I can do better next time. Thanks so much for checking out Pilot After 50. Check out my other cool stuff at my website, danmcgrath.net.